In several instances in the spring of 1863, women took to the streets from Virginia to South Carolina, protesting this ever-growing economic concern. In Richmond, Virginia, April 2nd, 1863, one of the largest and most destructive of these riots, the so-called Richmond Bread Riot, occurred. That day, a group of hungry Richmond women, many of them wives of Confederate soldiers, had gathered near the Virginia Capitol. They had gathered alongside the George Washington Monument. And they had decided that they were going to make their way to the governor's mansion, where they would demand some sort of relief, some sort of help from the crisis that they were facing. When they got to the governor's mansion, Governor Letcher refused to see them. And so now they were incredibly angry, and they took to the streets to march. Soon there were hundreds, and some say as many as thousands of followers. Several eyewitnesses reported seeing a gaunt woman raise a skeleton of an arm and scream, "We celebrate our right to live. We are starving." Others claim to have heard a chant of bread or blood. The mob then began attacking government warehouses, grocery stores, various mercantile establishments. They began seizing food and clothing, anything that they could get their hands on. Eventually, Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, had to come from his home, had to come out and meet with these women. But even that did not quell them. It was only the threat of soldiers pointing their guns at these women, telling them to stop, that finally convinced them to do so. But this doesn't end in Richmond. Throughout the spring of 1863, there were bread riots in other towns, in Atlanta, Augusta, and Macon, Georgia, in Salisbury and High Point, North Carolina, and in Mobile, Alabama. Women who were starving took to the streets to protest all that they were going through.